Before we dive into these 5 budgeting secrets, let me tell you something most people never hear until it's far too late. You don't go broke from one huge decision. You go broke from the quiet habits you didn't realize were eating your money alive. I learned this the hard way, the very, very hard way, after losing $128,000 in one painful mistake that almost wiped out my business, my confidence, and everything I'd spent years building. And the worst part? The disaster wasn't caused by bad luck. It was caused by budgeting lies I didn't know I was following. I'm going to break down all 5 secrets, and I'll show you exactly how I discovered them, through real mistakes, real losses, real pain, so you don't follow the same self-destructive financial patterns most people don't even recognize until their mid-30s or 40s. Here's the first budgeting secret. And if you only understand one thing from this entire video, let it be this. Billionaires do not budget the way normal people budget. They're not sitting there tracking lattes, cutting coupons, or worrying about small daily purchases. That's surface-level budgeting. And surface-level budgeting keeps you in the same financial lane forever. What the wealthy do instead is build what I call a non-negligible system. A system where the most important parts of their financial life are set in stone, automated, protected, and completely outside the reach of impulse, emotion, or temptation. Let me explain what I mean by non-negligible, because this is where most people lose thousands without even realizing it. When the average person gets paid, the first thing they think about is, what bills do I have to pay? What do I have left over? What can I treat myself to? What do I need right now? The wealthy think in the exact opposite direction. When money enters their account, they immediately allocate a fixed percentage to their future, investments, savings buffers, and wealth-building systems, and they treat those amounts as untouchable. It's not optional. It's not, if there's money left. It's not, when things calm down. It's the first thing that happens, every single time. Here's what nobody tells you. If you don't pay your future self first, you end up paying for your past mistakes forever. And that's exactly what happened to me when I lost $128,000. I wasn't prepared. My system was loose, emotional, reactive. I left too much to chance, and chance took everything it could. Billionaires don't have budgets, they have laws. Money enters, wealth is paid first, lifestyle adjusts to the leftovers. But the average person does the opposite. Money enters, lifestyle expands, debt fills the gaps, future gets the scraps. Let me show you the difference in a simple, painful example. Let's say 2 people earn $5,000 a month. Person A does what 95% of people do. They cover their bills, then they budget what's left. Person B follows the billionaire approach. They set a non-negotiable rule of 20% and automatically send $1,000 to investments and savings before touching anything else. Fast forward 10 years. Person A has a couple thousand saved, maybe a retirement account that never really grew, and a life that constantly feels tight. Person B has a 6-figure foundation and a financial trajectory that gets easier every year. Same income, same decade, different system. The difference is discipline up front, not money at the end. And here's the real psychological hack. When you make your future contribution non-negotiable, your brain adapts. Your lifestyle adapts. Your habits adapt. Your spending adapts. Your priorities adapt. But when you leave your future optional, your spending grows, your impulses grow, your lifestyle creeps upward, your problems grow right alongside your paycheck. This secret is simple, but it's the foundation of everything that follows. Build a system where your future gets paid before your present has a chance to interfere. Budgeting secret number 2 is one of the most painful lessons I ever learned, not because it involves massive mistakes or dramatic financial blunders, but because it exposes the tiny, almost invisible habits that drain your money without ever raising an alarm. And the wealthy, especially billionaires, are masters at controlling this one thing long before they ever think about earning more. I call it the silent leak rule, and once you understand it, you'll realize why 90% of budgets fail before they even begin. Here's the truth most people never see coming. People don't go broke because of one big, stupid purchase. They go broke because of hundreds of harmless-looking decisions that quietly compound into financial chaos. You know exactly what I'm talking about. That $12 snack because you were tired, that $4.99 app subscription you forgot about, that $18 Uber because you didn't want to deal with parking, that extra $3 for the premium version because it's only a few pounds, that $50 dinner because cooking sounded exhausting after work. Individually, none of these seem like a threat, but stack them together day after day, and you're suddenly losing hundreds, sometimes thousands, without ever feeling like you spent anything significant. And here's the twist. Most people don't even realize it's happening until they check their bank account at the end of the month and feel that punch of confusion. Where did everything go? Now, here's where rich people think differently. They don't waste time micromanaging every penny. That creates anxiety, decision fatigue, and eventually complete burnout. Instead, they zoom out and attack the entire category that contains their biggest leaks. Let me give you an example from my early days, back when my business had just started doing well and I finally had a bit of breathing room in my income. And like a lot of people in that position, the danger didn't come from fancy purchases. It didn't come from cars or designer watches or anything extravagant. No. My money was disappearing through something far sneakier: convenience spending. I convinced myself that because I was busy, because I was working hard, I deserved little shortcuts. Takeaway meals because I didn't want to cook. Coffees because I needed a boost. Taxi rides because parking annoyed me. Subscriptions because I might need it later. Online tools that renewed automatically without me noticing. None of these felt damaging. They felt justified, even smart. But when I eventually reviewed 3 months of statements, I felt sick. Those tiny, harmless comforts were costing me over $700 a month. £700, vanishing without a single standout purchase. That's the real danger of silent leaks. They don't shout. They whisper while they empty your account. And this is exactly where most people's budgets fail. They try to fix the damage by cutting back on individual items, removing one subscription, reducing one meal, skipping one Uber. But that never works long-term because the category itself is the problem, not the individual items. The wealthy solve this with a system that's simple, brutal, and unbelievably effective. The silent leak audit, billionaire method. Open your last 90 days of bank statements. Highlight every recurring cost, no matter how small. Group them into categories: food convenience, subscriptions, transport, impulse spending, premium upgrades. Identify the highest spending category. Completely eliminate 70–90% of that entire category for the next 60 days. Not cut back, not reduce a little. Eliminate the category's chokehold on your money. This is why the wealthy get ahead so quickly. They don't waste discipline on 20 different small decisions every day. They fix the environment so those decisions never appear in the first place. Once you remove one dangerous category, your money stops leaking automatically, without relying on willpower, motivation, or constant tracking. And something incredible happens after that. Your financial clarity improves, your budget becomes predictable, your stress decreases, your spending patterns reset, and suddenly you have hundreds freed up that you thought you didn't have. This is the power of the silent leak rule. It gives you back control without forcing you to live miserably or obsess over tiny details. Because here's the ultimate truth. Most people don't fail budgeting because they're irresponsible. They fail because their biggest financial leaks are invisible, until someone forces them to turn on the lights. Budgeting secret number 3 is something that completely rewired the way I looked at money because it exposes a fundamental truth that keeps millions of people stuck, paycheck to paycheck, even when they swear they're budgeting properly. And the truth is this: most people follow the exact opposite budgeting rule of the wealthy, and they don't even realize it. Let me show you what I mean. When the average person gets paid, they follow this pattern without thinking about it. 70% lifestyle, 20% obligations, 10% savings. On paper, it looks harmless. In reality, it guarantees one thing: you will stay exactly where you are. Why? Because when lifestyle gets funded first, lifestyle becomes the priority. It becomes the center of your financial world. It expands, grows, inflates, demands more, and every month you end up rearranging everything else just to keep your lifestyle alive. Savings? They happen only if there's something left. Investing? Only if the stars align. Opportunities? Only if life magically gives you a break. And that's exactly why most budgets collapse. They're built upside down. Now, here's what the wealthy do: the 70-20-10 inversion. It's not complicated, but it is uncomfortable at first. And that's why most people never try it. Here's the inversion: 10% lifestyle, 20% obligations, 70% future growth, savings plus investing plus wealth building. Now, does it always start exactly at 70%? No, but the wealthy always reverse the order. The future comes first. The present comes second. This is the budgeting version of eating your vegetables before dessert, except the vegetables are the things that make you wealthy, and the dessert is the lifestyle that feels good now but punishes you later. Let me paint a clearer picture. When I lost $128,000, one of the hardest lessons I had to swallow was that my money wasn't working for me. I was working for my money. I was funding my present before I funded my future, and that one habit cost me years of compounding I can never get back. Once I inverted the formula, everything changed. Suddenly, I wasn't trying to save what was left. I was living on what was left after paying my future first. And that shift, that mental switch, is what separates people who build real wealth from people who stay trapped in financial survival mode. Here's why the inversion works so well. 1. You automatically control lifestyle creep. When your lifestyle gets the leftovers, it can't expand fast enough to trap you. 2. You lock in wealth building as a non-negotiable. Savings and investing aren't optional, they're part of the plan. 3. Emergencies stop becoming disasters because you finally have buffers, cushions, and liquidity. 4. Opportunities start showing up, and you can actually take them. And trust me, nothing accelerates growth faster than having cash ready when most people don't. But the real magic is psychological. When people live on the inverted rule, their relationship with money transforms. They stop chasing status, stop spending to impress, stop reacting to every emotional impulse, and start seeing their income as a tool, not a scoreboard. And here's the part nobody tells you. Billionaires don't budget because they're frugal. They budget because they refuse to let their lifestyle dictate their future. That's the mindset shift this secret forces you into. Your life stops being built around what you want now and starts being built around what you want most. Now, the inversion will feel uncomfortable at first. It will stretch you, It will expose habits you didn't realize were holding you back. It will force you to redefine what normal spending looks like. But once it clicks, once you feel how much faster your money grows when you put the future first, you'll never want to go back. Because nothing is more addictive than watching your money multiply faster than your lifestyle. Budgeting secret number 4 is one of the strangest because it doesn't look like a budgeting tactic at all. It looks too simple, too obvious, too boring. And that's exactly why 99% of people ignore it, while the 1% quietly use it to stop thousands of dollars slipping through the cracks every single year. Let me explain. Most people think budgeting is about cutting the big things, the rent, the car, the bills. But wealthy people don't start there at all. The rich start with the expenses nobody sees, nobody questions, and nobody pays attention to, because these are the expenses that silently drain your bank account without triggering any emotional discomfort. I call this the invisible expenses audit, and it's one of the most powerful budgeting habits I learned after losing $128,000. Let me show you why it works. When the average person looks at their budget, they zoom straight in on the big, painful numbers, the rent, the car payments, the insurance. And because those numbers feel immovable, they tell themselves, budgeting won't help me. I don't have anything left to cut. My bills are already the minimum. I just need to earn more. Meanwhile, the real damage isn't happening in the big numbers. It's happening in the tiny, frictionless transactions that pile up quietly in the background. The 7 subscriptions, the $12 meal upgrades, the 25 convenience services, the 5 coffees that somehow turn into $120 a month, the online orders that felt too small to matter, the auto renewals you forgot existed, the impulse buys that never hit your guilt radar. Individually, they look harmless. Collectively, they can add up to thousands a year, money that could have been invested, saved, or used to build your second income stream. Here's the part that shocked me when I started doing this myself. When I reviewed a full year of my personal spending, I found over $4,000 in expenses I didn't even remember agreeing to. Not luxuries, not splurges, just tiny leaks, invisible ones, quietly draining my financial momentum. And this is where the billionaire mindset comes in. Billionaires hate leaks. They hate inefficiency. They hate money flowing out without a clear return. They don't care if an expense is $3,000 or $3,000. If it doesn't serve their future, it goes. Not because they're stingy, because they're disciplined, because they know leaked money is lost opportunity. Let me paint the picture for you. When you plug small leaks, your savings grow without effort. Your investments increase without sacrifice. Your stress decreases because your money finally stays where it should. Your financial breathing room expands. Your wealth starts compounding faster, without you needing to earn more. And the best part? You don't feel deprived. You don't feel punished. You don't feel like budgeting is ruining your life. You're simply eliminating expenses you don't use, don't value, and don't benefit from. That's what makes this secret so powerful. It upgrades your finances without downgrading your lifestyle. Now here's how the invisible expenses audit actually works. Step 1. Pull your last 90 days of transactions. Not 30 days, that's too short. 90 days exposes your real patterns. Step 2. Highlight every recurring charge, every subscription, every membership, every free trial that isn't free anymore. You'll be shocked. Step 3. Ask one question. If this disappeared tomorrow, would I notice? If the answer is no, cancel it immediately. Step 4. Identify emotional spending triggers. Late-night boredom, stress from work, convenience purchases, quick dopamine hits. Once you see the pattern, you can break the pattern. Step 5. Redirect savings into wealth, not lifestyle. This step is where most people fail. They cancel a subscription, then spend that money on something else. Billionaires don't do that. They funnel every freed penny into investments, assets, or buffers. Because here's the truth. Wealthy people understand. You don't get rich by cutting expenses. You get rich by redirecting those cuts into wealth engines. This is why the invisible expenses audit isn't about restriction. It's about reallocation. It's about making your money loyal to you instead of leaking away on things that don't matter. And when you combine this budgeting secret with the previous ones, you start building a financial system that grows even while your income stays the same. Budgeting secret number 5 is the one that changed my entire financial life, and it's the one I wish someone had smacked into my skull when I was 20, 25, even 30, because this is the secret billionaires live by, quietly, consistently, ruthlessly. While the rest of the world budgets backward, wonders why they're stuck, and assumes the solution is earning more. And that secret is simple, yet completely counterintuitive. Billionaires invest first and live on what's left. Everyone else lives first and invests what's left, which is usually nothing. Let me explain this properly, because the power behind this secret is enormous. When most people create a budget, they do it in the exact same order: rent, bills, groceries, subscriptions, lifestyle, a few treats, a bit of fun, and then they say, if anything's left, I'll save or invest. But here's what happens 99% of the time. Nothing is left. Not because you're bad with money, not because your income is too small, not because budgeting doesn't work, but because humans are experts at expanding their lifestyle to whatever their income allows, and sometimes beyond it. If investing comes last, it never comes at all. Wealthy people know this. Billionaires understand this deeper than anyone. That's why they reverse the formula entirely. They don't wait for leftover money. They create leftover money. They take the amount they plan to invest, whether it's 5%, 10%, 20%, or more, and they pay that amount first, before rent, before bills, before anything. And they treat it with the same seriousness you treat your electricity bill. You'd never skip paying for heat or water because it wasn't convenient this month, right? Billionaires treat investing the exact same way. Why? Because they know something most people never learn. You don't get wealthy from what you earn. You get wealthy from what you keep and what you grow. Let me give you a story to make this real. Years before my business took off, I was working insane hours, making decent money, yet somehow always broke. I'd convince myself that next month I'd invest more, next month I'd save more, next month I'd finally start building a financial cushion. But every month ended the same. No progress. So I asked a successful business owner for advice, someone who was miles ahead of me, someone whose financial discipline put mine to shame. And do you know what he told me? Mark, investing isn't something you do when you feel ready. It's something you do before anything else. He told me to take a percentage of my income, a painful percentage at the time, and remove it from my account the moment I got paid, not after paying bills, not after deciding what I needed, not after seeing how the month unfolded, immediately, automatically, no negotiation, and I've never forgotten what he said next. If you don't invest first, you'll never invest at all. Life is designed to drain your money the moment you let it. That advice changed everything. Once I implemented it, my financial life transformed almost overnight. Not because my income suddenly exploded, but because my behavior finally aligned with my future goals instead of my present impulses. And that is the psychological power behind this secret. When you invest first, you force your lifestyle to adjust downward. You force your spending to shrink to what you can truly afford. You force your brain to operate like someone building wealth, not someone hoping for it. And because you removed the decision-making from the moment, you eliminate the biggest wealth killer of all: emotional budgeting. When money is in your account, your brain finds uses for it. When money is already invested, your brain adapts. This is why billionaire-level budgeting works so well even on small incomes. You're not budgeting based on what you wish you could save. You're budgeting based on what you've already saved. The investments come first. The lifestyle comes second. And that's what builds wealth, while everyone else stays stuck in survival mode. Let me show you what this looks like in practice. Step 1. Choose your percentage. 5% if you're struggling, 10% if you're stable, 20% plus if you're serious. Step 2. Automate it. Automatic transfers straight into index funds, ETFs, retirement accounts, brokerage accounts, or assets you're building. No manual steps, no hesitation, no "I'll do it later." Step 3. Let the rest of your budget shape around what remains. You'll be shocked how quickly your spending adapts when you no longer treat investment money as optional. Because here's the harsh truth: if you don't force the gap between your income and lifestyle, your lifestyle will swallow that gap every single time. This is the one budgeting secret that can turn a completely ordinary income into extraordinary wealth over a decade, while everyone else stays trapped chasing raises, chasing status, chasing comfort, and chasing the perfect moment to start investing properly. The perfect moment doesn't exist, but the first payment does. And that's the one that rewires your entire financial destiny. Now that we've gone through all 5 budgeting secrets, the ones billionaires use quietly while the rest of the world keeps guessing, let me leave you with the truth I wish someone had drilled into my head long before I lost that $128,000. Your financial future isn't shaped by one big decision. It's shaped by the small behaviors you repeat without thinking. The leaks you ignore, the habits you justify, the excuses you protect, the timelines you cling to, the money stories you inherited without ever questioning them. Most people don't stay stuck because they're unlucky or underpaid. They stay stuck because they're running their adult life on autopilot, following patterns that were never designed to make them wealthy in the first place. But the second you break even one of those patterns, just one, your entire financial trajectory shifts. You start seeing opportunities you used to overlook. You start feeling control where you used to feel pressure. You start making decisions that compound instead of collapse. You start living like someone who's building a future, not surviving a present. And that's the version of you I want to see step out of this video. Not someone who tries harder, someone who thinks differently, because budgeting isn't about restriction, it's about direction. It's the tool that tells your money where to go so your life can go where you actually want it to. So if you're ready for the next step, the real step, the one where I show you exactly what to do every time you get paid, so your money grows automatically behind the scenes, the guide is waiting for you right up there. But don't click it yet. Make sure you subscribe if you want to build wealth with clarity instead of chaos, confidence instead of fear, and a plan instead of hope. All right, take a breath. You've done the hard part. You've learned the truth. Now let's go build the future you deserve.